delicious.
All right,
Excellent.
that worked.
Yeah.
Good.
An
Yeah,
expert. An expert right here.
Yeah, I'm not just a musician.
You're a Renaissance man, actually. Is that like you're involved in so many things, and like, for example, like we had the party at the studio, and like A-Track came, and it's like I never met A-Track. It's like, oh, James is doing an event, and so A-Track comes, I guess. There's like a bunch of other celebrities. It's like, what?
Okay, I'm not that. You're hyping me up too much. How did you just took over the interview already?
Nah, man.
See, this is a
All right.
guy that's used to being the one in my seat right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I remember
true.
back at Public Records, I was on the other side of this in a short form version.
Yeah, I was given the like ADD version.
Yeah, but now we get to talk for a while, catch up a bit, because yeah, haven't seen you very much recently. I think we've both just been busy doing a lot of other things. You were just telling me about some of like the family business stuff. I've obviously been in my kind of new day job.
Yeah.
But
day job.
we're still finding the time for music.
Yeah, man, the music.
Naturally.
Music is life.
But
for real, actually, so I've been doing these interviews like you were mentioning, and I've done probably like 10 of them. We posted maybe 10 online, and I've got like 5 or 6 more that we're editing. And the last question of the interview is, what does dance music mean to you? And like a lot of people say it's life. Like dance music is life. It's love. Like it's the most important things of humanity, which is really cool. Which I actually wasn't expecting that answer, to be honest. Not that like, maybe I just like okay, so there's 2 types of people in this world, right? There's a type of person that talks before they think, and there's a person that thinks before they talk. I'm definitely a talk before I think person. And so therefore, when doing these interview questions, I was like, oh yeah, we'll just ask a bunch of people stuff and we'll see what they say. And I don't know what they'll say, we'll figure it out, And then, but then you start seeing like, oh man, people that they're saying kind of some of the same stuff, which is like, and that last question I think was.
It's meaningful. I mean, I think it also shows that, because I think also all those responses, like I've seen a lot of these videos, like a lot of the artists in your orbit are just, they mean that very genuinely. I mean, you are just, I think, in a world of musicians and artists, like some of which you've kind of like helped curate and create, that like are people that are so genuinely passionate about this. And it's like, I feel like you're that way yourself. So it makes sense that like those are going to be the kind of people you attract, because that's not the whole scene. I mean, you've seen all types of of it over the years.
To say. I mean, I think like people are very passionate about. I think people are very passionate now more than ever with music or culture, because I think we have a feeling that we're like losing it. Like that includes everything. Any kind of in-person experience between real people in real time is like getting more and more scarce, and so I think people are becoming, really intense about it. For better or for worse.
Yeah.
So that can either bring people together, it can also be divisive. So I think for me, like I try to operate in my life, I've always tried to operate from a set of like core values that are just like love and honesty, building trust, respecting each other, which is really close to like the plur thing, I guess. Peace, love, unity, respect, So yeah, you try your best to live like that way, and hopefully that'll just bring a lot of like authentic people that truly love what they're doing together.
Totally.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also, we I guess I would love to give the audience too like a little bit of brief background too, because we jumped into it, and I think many folks will be, kind of familiar with you. There'll be plenty of people that won't as well.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you've been, doing this music thing for your whole life. It's taken, I think, a lot of different shapes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, what you're doing now in terms of, running a wonderful record label, producing and collaborating with a bunch of artists, kind of have your own project involved with other things. I mean, have like a studio you're also running. Like you have your hand on a lot of things, but you kind of got your start. I feel like a lot of people, it wasn't the case for me, but a lot of the, people in the scene, like with an instrument. And that was kind of your life for a long time.
Definitely.
I'd love to kind of,
Yeah, so I started, I mean, like music's been like a lifelong passion for me since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I mean, I got piano lessons. My mom, thanks to my mom, thanks Mom. She's still alive, but she's just not here with us. She's somewhere not on the internet. And she'll probably never see this, but thanks, Mom, for getting me involved in piano lessons. So, and actually, the one thing that I really thank my mom for is that a lot of kids get piano lessons when they're like 5 or 6,
I
maybe.
was basically one of those kids.
And like 99% of kids quit and
Yeah.
want to quit. And I wanted to quit just like every other kid. And my mom would not let me quit. She would say, you cannot quit piano lessons. You have to go to piano lessons. And so I don't know when it happened, but it must have been like in high school where all of a sudden it was really fun to play piano. And like at that time, I was just, I had a lot of free time as a kid. I would just bump around between hobbies. And it just so happened that we had this Apple TGS, like an old Apple, and we had an old Yamaha like keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't know the model number, but it was one of those like consumer models. And we hooked it up with a MIDI interface in like 1994, I think,
Yeah.
like very early days. And so then we were so into this thing that we would like score full, like, Broadway tunes. My mom was into Broadway tunes. We were all like Broadway show tunes like Cats and Phantom of the Opera, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Like, this is like a household of classical music.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Dvorak or Beethoven, all that stuff. So that was what we were doing. It's like a hobby. It's like, oh, it's fun. I'm going to reorchestrate Cats on my MIDI keyboard.
That was like your version of like playing outside with the
Exactly. I was like my version of playing outside at like age 7 or 8, right?
Meanwhile.
So I was like into this thing. It was fun. And I started playing piano. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then like, you know, playing horn, like my oldest brother, TJ, he's 8 years older than me. He was my first French horn teacher and he taught me how to play horn. He brought a high school horn, a horn from the high school, like a public school horn, the marching band French horn. And I got to, learn from him. I was like in 6th grade or something.
Yeah.
So it was like
Did
just
you
very
kind of
musical
attach to it quickly? Like, did you?
I just was like, I actually wanted to play the oboe, and I had no choice because my mom was like, well, we already have a horn, so you're going to play French horn because you're the youngest brother. So when you're the youngest brother, you get a lot of the hand-me-downs, which includes like, shirts and pants. And like by the time I would get like sweatpants, they'd have like just patches. Like they used to call me, they used to call me Patch sometimes when I was a kid. Hey, Patch, like, because I had just sweatpants that were just patches, like no sweatpants
That's
left.
being the younger,
Yeah,
the younger sibling.
so that's how I played horn. And I'd say in high school, I just started like getting really curious about like, like I think first like Stevie Wonder, like what is these chords that he's playing? Like, what is this stuff? Like I was listening to the Beatles, of course, and
Were your parents playing Stevie Wonder? Like, was this kind of, or were you just hearing it out? Like,
so I credit my like best friend at the time when I was in high school. He was just like, hey, check out Stevie Wonder, check out John Coltrane, check out the Village Vanguard, check out like Charlie Parker and all this stuff. And then I was listening to all this jazz music, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I really wanted to get jazz lessons, but my mom was like, no, you're not gonna learn jazz.
needed to be like classical
You
or
need
show.
classical. Yeah. So then all my jazz was just like me, like. I just started like transcribing solos and playing a little saxophone, playing a little trumpet, playing a little horn. And then like I got really into John Scofield in high school. And he had a record called Uber Jam. And it just so happened that my brother David was at school at NYU and his friend was dating Jeannie Scofield, who is John Scofield's daughter. And so for me in my mind, that was a huge connection. Like, oh my gosh, if I go to New York, there are people that are actually making the things that I listen to in Wisconsin. That was like the first moment of like, that's crazy. And he had this record called Uber Jam. And I was like, I want to be like an Uber musician. So I was like my 18-year-old, like whatever, dinosaur brain.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to be an Uber musician. So I got really good at horn and I actually went to school to Northwestern on scholarship to play horn, classical French horn. And I went there and got really deep into the horn world. And I played with Gail Williams, who is the horn teacher there. And I just went back there for her retirement horn concert, which was really, really cool. I had a great teacher in high school named Bill Barnowitz, who is like the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra principal horn player. Incredible, one of the best horn players I've ever heard in my life. Incredible. And he, unfortunately, his later years has had Parkinson's, so he can't play anymore. But so he, in that combo, was at school playing French horn, doing very well. But the summer after my freshman year of college, I came to intern with my brother David at his music studio in New York.
He already had a studio at this point.
So he was working actually for another studio. He did not tell my mom this, but he got a job his senior year of college at NYU, and he decided to basically quit NYU. He did not. He walked down the aisle at MSG, grabbed his diploma, but it was a provisional diploma.
And your parents had no idea?
He did not tell my parents because he got a job at a music studio. So he was like, well, I don't
What's
really.
the point? I mean, I already have.
Yeah, it's like I'm down to pay my rent and just start going on this thing. So my brother David, the reason he got that job is because he did the first time McDonald's did a salad commercial. Like David submitted for the music and he won the job as like a 22-year-old. Yeah. He was the one that did the first McDonald's salad commercial.
How is he already landing syncs at that age?
Well, he was working at a company that pitched for it.
Okay.
Like, so the company was doing only post-production stuff.
Got it.
And so I was interning at the studio that he was working at, right, that summer. And so in that summer, it was crazy. The studio was on like 33rd Street, and we were doing like tons of spots for like MTV. And I was the intern. So you would like literally run tapes back and forth for revisions. So you would like have your beta tape. They'd press the beta tape with the new audio, and then the intern would like literally run to Times Square to go into the Viacom building to hand it off to the director to give notes on it, you know, and then they would call and be like, well, you know, and they do another round. Exactly. For real. So that was how old. That's like, I was at the very tail end of that stuff. Like, I'm not that old, but I was at the tail end of that thing. And so that summer though, my brother had some friends from NYU, and this guy named Will Griggs had discovered a band that called MGMT, which was,
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, which some kids, you know. And so then my brother told Will, like, you should just start a record label. And because my brother's always been about independence and doing things like, you know, like trying to build something for yourself that, you know. And so Will started a record label called Cantora Records with his friends. And then they released MGMT, which we had the opportunity to produce or co-produce. I was like the assistant, and David was really like the producer. And
produced the full album.
The first EP.
Yeah, that was the first EP.
Yeah, so it's called The Time to Pretend EP with like the Boogie Down and Love Always Remains, like the early EP. So then I went back to school.
That was your summer.
That was like my summer internship.
Was working on that EP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy, right? So then I went back to Northwestern, like these classical horn kids.
You're like, what's this?
And I'm like, guys, listen, there's this band. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm like, there's this band. It's called MGMT. They're like on tour of Montreal right now. They're so cool, man. And I'm going to make a band too. And I'm going to call it French Horn Rebellion. And I played a song for one of his trumpet players, like, because they're very conservative people. This dude, his name was Brandon. He's a conservative Christian guy who is a trumpet player. And I had him in my room, and I had like at that time like a laptop with some demos and stuff on it. And I would play him a demo of a song that would end up going really, really big when a couple years later. But like I played in the song, and he just went like full laughter, like, ah, that's hilarious. I can't believe you're doing this. You're nuts. Like,
it's like writing you off.
Totally right off. Exactly. So anyways, that's so then I was like, all right, this sounds like the good path for me. That's what I guess was thinking.
Yeah.
And so by that time I was a senior in college, I was just like full on with the band. I was like, I'm gonna release an album. I'm gonna go on tour. I'm gonna tour the world. And actually, my senior year of college, my horn teacher wrote me an email that said, Robert, you need to stop majoring in drugs, sex, rock and roll, and get back to business. You need to get back to your French horn. So I was like, the French Horn Rebellion has begun. I posted the letter on my MySpace. You know, I was so proud of the letter. And then I went on MySpace, and I booked the whole tour across the United States just like from sheer persistence.
Side right here, we'd have a concert in the middle of the street.
Oh shit, let's get the shit out. We played like punk rock venues, we played people's basements, we played people's houses. Like in Wichita, Kansas, we played this beautiful house with these wonderful family of folks that are just beautiful people. And they had a venue called the Vertical Violet. It was just their house, and it was a couple with 3 kids, and like the kids were aged, I don't know, like 7, 11, and 5 or something like this.
Yeah.
And they would just have punk rockers come over and play in their living room, this sort of stuff, like all over the United States. And you just message them on MySpace and you're like, hey, I'm in the, coming through town. You want to have a show? So we got like from that first tour after I graduated school.
Yeah, because I mean, during that time, were you guys just like still very much like discovering your sound and kind of figuring out like even what like you guys were gonna be, or was it pretty like clear at that
I
point?
think like that's the thing. Like I'm the kind of guy that's like a talk first, think later type of person. So at that time, I was just like, hey, we're just gonna have great shows. It's gonna be really fun. It's not gonna be classical French horn. We're gonna be on stage and do ridiculous things because that's just like being fun and youthful.
Like
and
let's have
boisterous.
this like serious instrument, but
Yes.
how can we make this totally just
How do we
playful
completely
and
exactly
rambunctious and just kind of punk in that way?
exactly? So the French horn rebellion idea was more like, hey, French horn players, we don't have to be
Unite.
like this. Exactly. We don't have to be like this. We can make our own music and we can have fun. We don't have to play Beethoven or Mozart or anything. We can play our own stuff and it'll be really fun. And unfortunately, we never connected with a lot of horn players because I think most horn players actually like the fact that it's written for them and it's in their lane and they do the thing
Kind of
very well.
conventional for
It's more like a carpenter, it's like there's an architect, there's the carpenter. Horn player is more like, okay, I see what I have to build, so I'll play it, or I'll, not really like thinking about how it comes together necessarily. So not true for all horn players, but I would say maybe the general, generally.
Yeah.
But
Like who was in the band at that?
so it was me and David, me and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just you two, and then with some kind of was it like when you were on stage? I mean, but
Yeah.
but just you two.
Just the two of us. Yeah, so
And
we
what
would
was he
do
playing?
like
Or kind of how? What did it look like? I'm trying.
it was all of our stuff was just in a box, and then we had like a flying V formation of like MIDI keyboards. And it was more of a dramatic show. Like we would try to come up with like skits and like just like funny ideas or like things that are just ridiculous and just do them in front of a bunch of people. It was a bit like absurdist, like fast forward a little bit. Like for example, we did this tour, that first tour, and then we got on this whole circuit of people in the South and in the Midwest that are like we're in the electro punk clash kind of world. Like, and then we got kind of popular on that tour. We played South by Southwest in like 2008 or something. And then we got a manager in the UK. And then all of a sudden by 2010, we were playing festivals in Europe, which is crazy. We were like a kind of a buzzy band, I think.
Yeah.
And
what does it feel like I mean, as that kind of like come up was happening, were you, I mean, you've kind of, mentioned being this kind of talk first, think later. Was that also how you were kind of living it and feeling it?
definitely. Like I was definitely not somebody that you'd want to know for a long time at that point in my life. Like I was definitely still figuring things out.
I mean, you were young.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a lot of appreciation and thanks and love for my managers at the time and any partner that worked with us, because now that I've been on the other side of the coin, it's like, oh my God. So, but the shows that we did at the time were very absurdist. For example, like at Festival, like the UK festival. So we played Festival in like 2011 or something. And my brother actually quit the band during the show. He quit the band. And he actually not only quit the band, but then he went into the audience and he started auditioning people to replace me during the show.
Wait, tell.
Yeah.
All right, rewind it back. Wait, how?
Well, because we would like come up with these like like kind of like a little bit of drama, a little theater. So the whole thing was like I had this song about being a French horn player that was getting replaced by a computer, and so then I would get really into it and I play this like really crazy keyboard solo that was really, and David's like, stop doing it. That keyboard solo sucks. It's terrible. You're a horrible keyboard player. Like nobody wants to hear it. And then he like would like press a button and like smoke would come out of our box and like the sounds would be like of the computer failing.
Yeah.
So then Dave was like, I quit, So then Dave went out and then he started auditioning other people. And then I'm up there by myself, in front of like 5,000 people. I'm like, David, oh man, like, what am I going to do, guys? It's just me up here. Oh no, And then, so then I had to bring him back to the band. And the way I won him back was by like an epic French horn solo, obviously.
Yeah.
So then he, he's like, okay, I guess he's pretty good,
Wait, that is such commitment.
Yeah, it's like the bit.
That is commitment to the bit.
David, what's going on? You do what? She's way better than you. She's better at keyboard than I am? You only use 2 fingers. She uses 2 fingers and she's better at keyboard than me? Yeah. Oh my God, no. David, no. Right? David, I have an idea. What if I was going to play something for you that would make you think that I'm worthy to be in the band? What if I was going to play something for you?
Yeah, so if you look on YouTube, you can
there has to be a video of this, right?
Yeah. If you go online and you search Festival French Horn Rebellion, you'll see my brother like auditioning people.
How did the audience react?
I don't know. I think they thought it was kind of weird, I guess, but
I mean, I've like never really heard of that. So that's amazing. I feel like that is like, I mean, that's memorable.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do stuff like that all the time and like kind of come up with different bits, and so that's kind of the genesis of French Horn Rebellion, and that went on for so long. I mean, we were doing that to like 2016 or so, and then at that time though, we were like, like David didn't want to tour as much. I still was interested in touring, but
was it just like a lifestyle thing that he wasn't interested in?
Yeah,
it's definitely not for everyone.
It's not for everybody, and so he was starting to kind of focus on the studio work, and eventually I was like, you know what? I think we kind of, I was like, I kind of want to work at the studio too, like, and at that time David had created like kind of a company with his wife and her brother and like some family friends, and they kind of were like trying to create something that was a little different from what would have been a normal musical existence, because I think a lot of people in music feel like they're on their own and that you're always fighting against your fellow friends. It's like, oh, my band's not the headline slot, but my friend's band is. Like, it's hard for me to celebrate their success.
Yeah.
And I think like we're just really tired of that, and like we want to celebrate in our friends' successes, and the way that happened in reality was that it was like 5 folks that are freelancers in their own right, which is my brother, my sister-in-law, her brother, his best friend, and then their other best friend. It's the 5 original founders. So they brought in all the money that they were making individually and saying, you know what, we're going to just put all the money we're making into a pot and we're going to get a salary from it. And like, one for all for one, let's go. Like it was kind of like, I guess.
Is it also like kind of like pooling everyone's kind of catalogs and everything? Or
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So like if you think about it from a musician perspective, it means signing your publishing, your masters, like everything that's your intellectual property to a bigger thing that's not you.
Yeah.
And everybody participating equally. So like, for example,
it's like creating your own public, or kind of, I guess.
Exactly. It's so crazy because.
What is like the entity? Is it?
It's
like
called Space Pack.
Okay.
So I actually didn't join initially because I was like the younger brother being like, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my French Horn Rebellion thing. I'm going to do my DJ thing, whatever. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I think
you're onto something.
You're onto something. I was watching Hillary Clinton's like 2016 acceptance speech, and she was like, it takes a village to do anything great, something like this. And I was like, oh man.
Shout out Hillary for changing your career.
She did change that a little bit there. I mean, there's been a lot of great mentors and influences along the way, but that was the moment that I was like, damn, I'm missing out on my village. Like my village has created this company and I'm not in it, and that makes no sense. And so I was like, I got to get in this thing. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to work at the studio. My job then was to be label and A&R. So it was like, well, at first let's do our own projects, but maybe we could build out a label, like build out a community around the space, and like kind of like do this thing where it's like maybe we can sell to brands like our cultural sort of like knowledge or cultural like just like taste, or the fact that we've done real things with real artists in the world to help pay the bills, and then that'll create the space for people to be truly creative. Because when we were like artists as French Horn Rebellion, I often felt the pressure that I needed to make a hit or a song that's going to be really popular, Or like,
and especially after like maybe the first successful song or something, then it's like,
what's the follow-up?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we need hits. Like, I had so many managers that were like, I had British managers for a while, and they're like, Robert, we need hits, Robert. We don't need a concept record, Robert. We need hits, you know? It's like, oh, man. It's like, come on, man. It's about the music, you know, like
Yeah.
23, 4-year-old.
And yeah, I mean, after many years of that, soul sucking. I mean,
Exactly. So I was like, well, what, you know? So the idea with the label was to attempt, you know, and it's like, you know, some people have probably felt over the years that it really was a true space they could feel creative and themselves. Maybe others didn't really feel that way. Of course, you don't always like hit it perfectly, but like what we've tried to do is create a space that artists can come and make music that's just like really great, and there's no strings attached, and it's just fun, you know, that sort of thing. So that's how we got to Toucan Sounds.
yeah, I guess like when like your brother and like the whole like group was kind of created, was the intention always a label, or is that more when you got involved and they were like,
So the label, the group started basically because one guy was like a video game guy, that's Zach. One was like a film person. He'd worked for like Hans Zimmer, this is Derek. And then DJ and David, you know, married together, and then Leia, it was like the business grad. So she's like the head of production. So like the initial idea was not to focus at all on passion projects initially. And I wasn't really involved at that time. That was like 2014 or 15. And then I got involved.
That was more just like commercial work and like other things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, commercial work, films, video game stuff. So
but when you got involved, it was like, why not like,
yeah,
some...
if I was basically spending everybody's money, I mean, you know, because the label doesn't make any money, you know. So it was like, that's the thing about passion things, is that you don't always get like a monetary return for it, you know. It's like things that are, it's like, you know, you're moving hearts and minds. It's different, you know. So it's hard to measure that with dollars sometimes.
Was that clear to you from the beginning that it was gonna be this passion break even kind of?
I think at first I thought that it was gonna be like somewhat, maybe it'll make some money. I mean, with French Horn Rebellion, I definitely, and I signed, like the first act I ever signed was to a label that I like half started. I like in 2014, I was kind of like toying with the idea of starting a label instead of continuing French Horn Rebellion. And I signed this guy named Slap Top, who ended up has a track with like tens of millions of streams, and it ended up doing really well. So I was like, oh, well, you know, that wasn't so hard. Like I had 4 artists that I wanted to sign for my first label, and they all ended up being like million monthly listener people. So I was like, oh, well, maybe this is something that could, you know, do some money stuff. But I think what ultimately happened though was that like the Brooklyn music that was being made between 2000 and let's say 8 to 2016, you know, there's a lot of indie pop, you know, this MGMT thing, or there was like Darwin D's, and there was like, you know, Sleigh Bells, and like there was like St. Lucia and the Knox, and like there were so many artists that like had a bit of pop to them, you know. But I think 2017 things are really changing as far as like,
and even just what streaming looked like, and
totally. Well, I think New York got too expensive for a lot of folks. And so people that wanted to keep making that type of stuff, they went to LA or Nashville to be songwriters. And what that left though was folks that were like, I'm New York, man. It's all about New York. It's about New York City dance music. It's New York City house music. You know, it's like all these venues in New York. That's really what the scene that was happening. And so, you know, I was like, I want to be part of this because this is like really exciting, you know. And I just like, I love a lot of different types of music, but I definitely love jazz, and I love the groove, and I always skip the ballads on records. And I was in those like, you know, 70s and 80s pop records, skip the ballad.
yeah,
Like,
give me the groove.
Give me the groove. Yeah. So that's,
Where's the
like,
funky bass line? Come on.
exactly. So kind of naively, I was like, all right, well, French Horn Rebellion is kind of like dance music, and so I'd rather get into the dance music stuff than the pop stuff. So I naively was like, all right, New York City house music label. So, which is
Like, what a new concept.
Because it's like, oh man, not another white guy from the Midwest making a house music label in New York City. Like every single person is like, oh my God, like Toucan Sounds. I don't know about this. You know, that was definitely the first couple of years there. And so
just kind of finding your identity in terms of what the label is going to look like, what it means for you to be operating it, like
exactly
how do you position yourself within this long history of
exactly because like somebody like A-Track, we were talking about A-Track. I mean, he's hip hop. He's got the vinyl stuff. Like he's got a huge vinyl collection. Like he's scratching.
And also just like an encyclopedic knowledge.
Encyclopedic knowledge, and like because I was a French horn player and like a performer and an artist. Like I was always about just like playing music because I love to play it. Like speak first, think later. And I think that's the same with jazz or any time when you're playing the music. So that was just always like my thing is like, I'm just going to play music. I'm going to make music. I'm just going to try to find some people to make music with, you know? So that's the initial Toucan sort of like nexus was I was just like throwing some parties like, hey, I'm going to start a label. I'm going to throw a party. Like we had a party at Black Flamingo. You know, we had a party, the Bad Room. We did one. And I was just like, you know, hey, well, like have us over. And that came in next, like Haruka Salt DJ'd one, and then Muscle Cars and Cesar Toribio. And that was like the first wave of folks that were in the Toucan world.
Oh, cool.
And
people who now I feel like are really flying and
totally,
like doing incredible things. And
exactly. So like we got fortunate to hook up with those guys, and from there was like I learned a lot from them. You know, like I learned a lot from Caesar and Muscle Cars guys and Haruka, and like that was sort of the beginning of where Toucan is today, which I think is representative of what's happening in Brooklyn, you know, in New York City. Yeah. Because I mean, it's related to the studio space, right? So when we did this nexus of this, like bringing these minds together to create this company, which was like such a radical idea, is like, I'm going to give up my publishing for the good of my friends, you know, was the concept. And, from that, we were able to build out our initial studio space, and we got to the point where the whole thing was going so well, we were able to actually buy a building in Williamsburg during the pandemic, like at the bottom basement price situation. And we were able to it's been now 4 years of renovations.
Ongoing
Renovations for 4 years. Yeah, you kind of take some things for granted sometimes. It's like the plumbing, electricity, like the foundation, you know, like just getting that to be done has been, and to self-fund it.
Yeah.
So to do it through your own work and mostly through music work too is like, it's really crazy.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's totally insane. Yeah. So the studio space, like,
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Well, we're still working on it. The basement is got some work to do. We're getting there, but like, yeah, so the label like kind of was a thing like, oh, well, why do we care about Brooklyn music? Well, because we like live in Brooklyn, like we're invested in Brooklyn. Our lives are in Brooklyn. Like this is where we are. Like this is where great music is. There's a history of great music here. And so like, that's why, you know, it's like, I love a lot of music. Like I'm a music fan of every genre probably, but I would say like the reason why we went with dance music for Toucan is just because I felt like that it was such a representation of the vibrancy of the city, basically. So, which leads to you.
It does, yeah. Yeah, A Little Lost.
And you're released this summer with
A Little Lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was kind of meant to be. I feel like we had had some overlapping worlds.
Yeah,
hadn't really gotten to like formally meet. But yeah, I feel like had like so many mutuals, and I was in that phase where I was like considering like, where do I want to, I wanted to find a home for this. I mean, I was kind of debating whether like even potentially self-releasing it. But it really came down to like you said, like wanting to find like a studio I could build with, or a label I could build with, and like a home and somewhere that did feel like Brooklyn and like where I am, and that like I didn't really have to like explain the music to, also that would just kind of get it, because it isn't like necessarily the kind of music you're like gonna hear in every club, but it's like very much comes from that.
But
like,
it does slap.
it does sound all right. It does sound all right in the club, but yeah, but it's like it's you know, it's hard to find the label that's like rooted in kind of like dance music, but isn't necessarily only thinking about music for the club.
Yeah, that's true.
And like kind of thinking about like, what does it also sound like to have like house music or house inspired music that is also just kind of trying to like sound a little different, or trying to maybe be as much for listening as it is for you know, dancing too.
Well, that's like means a lot, you saying that, because I think when we started, people always say this, man. It's like, oh, like you gotta, in dance music, you gotta have like a specific lane. Like it's gotta be one thing. Like you gotta be 1998 acid house from Detroit or something. It's gotta be one thing, and you have to fit into this one thing. And it's like, that's not how music is made. That's how musicologists make music. That's just my opinion. You know, it's like music is made from emotion. It's made from experience. It's made from inspiration. Like, to be like saying that, you know, like I'm making something to fit within this lane, like that to me seems anti-creative.
I mean, all of my, and I think I can say this at this point, I've been making music for about 5 or so years, been releasing for like 4 years. All of my worst music is when I'm trying to have it sound like something else. Like and some of it is in the world, and I like don't. I mean, I'm sure it's like it's part of me. It's like it was still an expression of something I did, but like so much of the music that I have that's just like sitting in folders that I'm never gonna open again, and like because it's just not very good, is me trying to sound like something else. And truly, all this stuff that I think like really does stand out and feels like me is just like using a moment, whether it was like hearing another song or a night out and hearing a DJ play this set that kind of really transformed how I think about music, you know, whatever it is, like, but some kind of experience, a moment, some way I was feeling that day, like, you know, whatever it is.
Well, this is more than ever, like what I'm doing now, trying to do is like showcase real moments of real connection, you know, like all the time. That's what I'm really trying to do. And I'm doing a lot of influencing, you call it, I guess, but it's like I'm kind of treating it in the sense of like of a TV show where it's just like, let's have a script, let's write the script, but what's the inspiration for the script? So like, for example, I was in a taxi ride and I heard a taxi from Guinea play something from an artist that's really popular from his country, and I had never heard this music before. I thought it was so cool. So I want to share it on the internet, you know, or share it, tell my friends about it. And the same story, I just did one about the system, you know, like there's this viral track where this Carrie Chandler remixed, it's this dude who remixed Carrie Chandler who remixed.
I know, it's crazy. I love that story.
Yeah, it's like, and this guy is friends with my old manager, Bill Coleman, who is now released on the label, and who Bill Coleman is working with D-Diggs on the new album. And we just had a release with Ultranate and DJ Minx and D-Diggs that I co-wrote, which was a true honor. I mean, whew, I was like co-writer with D-Diggs. It's like D-Diggs is a writer, you know, like Ultranate, DJ Minx, and
that's
some
royalty
white
right
guy
there.
from Wisconsin. like, oh my God, this is like whew, big honor. So thank you. But I, you know, like, so Mick Murphy, like I had a collaboration with Mick Murphy, the singer of the System. So it's just like able to talk about that, you know, and like those real like musical experiences, you know, and I think that applies. Like it's like this is like some of the work that we've been doing with like brands, even, like, which is a really annoying thing, but because brands
not your favorite
are not
part?
real. No, bands are terrible. But it's like to dial down to like, who are you, or like dialing down to that real human connection in that actual moment, and being able to like expose it or nurture it or whatever it might be. Like that's really, so that can have different sort of mutations, right? It's like that idea, whether it's like love, let's say I have heartbreak or something, it's like that can express itself as a film, or it can express itself as a song or as a 20-second TikTok reel. It's like these messages, or artistic content or artistic message can find different mediums, you know. So I guess that's how I've been thinking about it. And with Toucan, you know, I think we were talking about this because we were talking about Toucan Sounds and how you felt like that it was a spot that you could express yourself. And like, I think that's what we've really been committed to as this, like, as our thing for like, since we did this 10 years ago. Like we were talking about my apartment, you know, it's like I moved there 10 years ago. And part of the reason I moved there is because it's 1 block from the studio. And that's the same year that I started working at the studio. So it felt like, oh man, this is my life. Like this is
Your world.
this is the world. And yeah, it's been like cool to see folks like really succeed and like, you know, making great music that inspires me and there are a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
So that's been cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's such an amazing catalog of music from the label, and I feel like, you know, if I'm not mistaken too, you've kind of changed the, like, I guess like strategy, if you will, a little bit in terms of kind of aligning with and just building up like a few artists, kind of more than just like being a kind of released from like a bunch of different people and kind of
originally I was thinking like label strategy wise, it's like, okay, well, let's have like some bigger marquee releases and then be like a Nervous Records that's like put something out like every other week. That's just like, it's sort of like a song is like a piece of content where it's like, but I think actually,
and a lot of dance music labels operate that way for what it's worth.
Yeah. So, which I think is actually like kind of, I think it's a little flawed if you think about it, actually, about really great record labels over the years, like I think of Kitsune as one of my favorites, or like Ed Banger. I'm like from that era of like, or DFA, you know, it's like, I don't think they had like marquee releases. It's like they're independent label. You don't have so many resources. It's like, you got to like really find a record that you're passionate about and like really get it going. And so like, that's what we're doing now. You know, we got Your Thing this summer, but also D Diggs. We got, you know, an EP with Byron the Aquarius this fall. And then there's Brandon Markle Holmes and stuff. So it's like, you know, a handful of artists. And you know, like that short form stuff, like, oh, the single every week or this or that. It's like, no, let's just do like features on stuff we've already released, or features on music we like.
Exactly.
Or interview people, like, you know, interviewed you, and like that's been really cool.
Yeah.
So it's a new thing.
Yeah. And what do you think is like, I mean, you referenced this a bit, but kind of, have you thought much about like the vision for the label, or kind of what it's going to look like going into 2027 and kind of beyond, and kind of what you're trying to build? I know the space is also a part of that, and kind of.
Yeah. So I'd say like the real vision, like the future vision, hopeful we can make it happen, but it's going to take our lifetimes, is like to be like the new Motown, you know, I mean, of New York. It's like showcasing what New York, the people that live in New York, like music from here, just like with Detroit, you know, so like of that era, you know, and like that we have a stable of folks that can help make it reality, like folks that are musicians or mixers or producers or whatever.
Kind of like have the session group who just like is kind of really a part of the fabric. And
exactly. And like, and it's related to events. So we have the event space. Ideally we could have it as like a real community that's like, we're doing events every weekend. We've got you know, a session in 2 of the rooms, you know, like every day, making stuff for the label or making their own stuff. And but we're getting there, because it's really, really expensive. So we're kind of like, we're slowly building out the space, and to be able to do that means we have to take on a lot of projects that pay the bills, kind of.
And that obviously leaves less time for the other stuff. So it really is.
So I think this year and last year were like less label time than I want to personally, but we've been keeping up with the releases with Haruka Salt, who's like an amazing A&R and label manager. She's been doing great. And then I have help with this, my friend Wang, who's been helping on social media stuff. And he's been super awesome, like helping navigate this time. And I'm hoping like next year we're kind of like hoping to build like a showcase bar downstairs in the hi-fi space with like, you know, like this with hi-fi speakers and everything, and like really furnish it out and be really nice. And
Just for kind of for like label related events, or even just to have like kind of a like any kind of like random Friday night there, or what's
totally, exactly. Like
Nice.
the idea is to like turn that into like, it's like it would be private event, or you would only know about it if you were
kind of word of mouth.
Like, exactly. And
but just like a lot of cool intimate programming that's really
exactly
about the music, and
that's inspiring. And like that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
So
I think that's so special. And even just like, I can like envision that where it's just like, a bunch of like artists and people in the scene are there. I mean, every time there's been an event, like that's kind of like a lot of the crowd and demographic too.
It's like all,
you know, and it's like, what if like during one of those parties too, there's people upstairs working on a record, and like, I don't know, it's just like that kind of is what like the space like kind of begs. Like it feels
that's
like
what the idea is. I mean, when we designed it, it's what we designed it for. But I mean, like to the brands we work with, like the stuff that like I'm sure folks might I should probably talk a little bit about how we pay the bills is like the big thing that we've gotten to become really good at and known for is really my brother's work. So I really can't take much credit for it, but it's called sonic branding.
Yeah.
So that's when you see like a logo on television and there's a little sound with it. So like
ABC.
Yeah, like so we did the NBC one, which is huge, the NBC chimes, and the latest one we did is Verizon, which is like an original composition, very exciting for us. And actually now I'm working on the graphics. So that's how we're paying the bills, is these projects, branding projects. My own family business, you know, like had been on a rough patch for many years. And because we had experience in branding, they brought us in as a third party. It's like rebrand the company. We rebranded the company, but we discovered that just the folks in charge
needed fixing.
Yeah, they just didn't have the vision about like what it means, what the company's real purpose was. It would be like coming in and seeing an artist that's like, this happened to my friend Zishan, right? Like my friend Zishan is like an amazing soul singer, and then he's making an indie pop record, and I'm like, Zishan, what are you doing, man?
Like you don't have to do this.
Do an indie pop record. You don't have to do this. So
people love you for your soul.
Exactly. So he makes a soul record, and then nobody downloads it. And I'm like, my guy, it's because you got to be on the internet, man. You got to be on the internet. You got to promote that shit.
He blows the hell up.
And then he
right?
blew
Doesn't he
up.
get viral?
Yeah, he went viral. So it's like, similarly, it's like, that's like in this world, like thing that I've noticed is like, doesn't matter how much money, doesn't matter how much time or how much of anything, like if you're doing something that's not in true alignment with your soul and your purpose, like you're going to be going against the, you know, the grain. Like
and it won't last long. Even if you get that temporary success, like there's not longevity in that.
And even, I mean, not even longevity, but I think about like artists with addictions over the years, like artists I've been on tour with who just like they're just not like in a good place as a person, and maybe their project blows up and then they're really insecure about it and they really don't like it or the exposure or whatever, and then it can create whole other mental craziness. So like, because mental health is super important for artists out there. I mean, but the point is that like, so we're helping the family business and get that back online with what is that makes the family business special. And so that's been a huge project. And so this is this year, last year, but I'm hoping that all these projects can get the studio finished, that we can like all these artists that we've been like, you know, like believing in, like, you know, start to get some momentum in the space and
can even start, spending more time in the studio and kind of just doing more.
Exactly. And like getting back to my producing ways, you know.
We need to do a session soon.
I know, we did one session. It was really good, man.
We have to
we gotta get that on the schedule. We can do that. We can do that.
Good.
I was like, before this like Perlick rebrand stuff, that's the family business for those on the internet that don't know. Perlick, it's called. Like I was doing sessions pretty much every day, like co-writing and that sort of thing, which led to some cool collabs. Like I did a track with like Sarah DeWarn and Eli Brown, which was really cool, which is like, you know, and I was working on tracks with this guy named Conrad Taylor, who's doing really well right now.
There's a lot of exciting things on the label happening, and I guess I
Yeah.
kind of like love to end on anything that like you're particularly excited about coming up, whether in your life or on the label or just.
Well, I think I'm excited about like, I think like strong conviction. You know, if you're convicted about something for a long enough time, that's a resonance, that has a resonance within yourself or your soul, and if you do that for enough time, like great things happen, and it feels like we're achieving some really great stuff in our lives, which is really exciting. You know, like I'm really excited about an album I'm trying to put together for myself, for RPM debut album, and you know, of course, like developing relationship with my wife, you know, family life, and seeing where that goes, and that's going to be really exciting. So, and all the nieces and nephews, you know, I got 5 nieces and nephews now, and like they're all getting really big, so that's a lot of exciting things there. So I'd say that's what's going on, man.
Oh, well, I'm very excited. You'll have to show me some of the Robert PM music.
Yeah, man, I'll get him. It's coming together slowly. I was gonna, my 40th birthday party's this summer in June. Or it's not a party, there is no party. It's a party for me, I guess. It's my birthday. But I'm gonna be 40. I was gonna try to get my album together and do like an album release party, but it's not gonna
Not gonna happen. Well, it could be.
It could be
belated.
D Diggs album release party maybe. Which is, I'm excited about that one. D Diggs album.
Shout out D Diggs,
Yeah.
a past guest.
Oh yeah, nice. D Diggs is the best. She's so cool.
Oh, she's awesome.
I have so much fun with D, like, because I think like she has a similar feeling as I do about like the openness of the spirit. She's very spiritual.
Totally.
And I think like curiosity is definitely, you know, like you think about values, like has been a big thing in my life recently, is thinking about like damn, like Suno, for example, is this stupid AI thing, right? If you go to their website and they say their values, they list their values, and the values are like, the first one is impatience, because seriously, they write impatience as a value. Because like learning how to make music isn't fun. It's better to be impatient and just, right? That's the first value. Second value is aesthetic, which is like definitely not a value. Like, and then third value is music, which is also not a value. It's like music's a value. And then the last value is oh shit, I forgot what it was. It was some stupid thing though.
Sounds like they had a product and then wanted to justify how to make money.
Exactly. But it's not a value based, like it's not like I want to live a life of like love and like and curiosity and like interest
and passion.
Yeah, or like the Greeks, you know, they have it's like courage or justice, like loyalty, like things like this, like things that are stood the test of time. And like as we look to the future, it's like I feel like so much of what's happening, like in the amount of money that's being spent on things that are not about advancing the tried and true, like human stuff, like love, you know, like all you need is love, you know, or money can't buy you love. Like the Beatles have said it all, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean,
the Beatles figured it out. I mean, right?
I think that's a perfect way to end. We started with the mention of the Beatles, and we end with
Exactly. There you go.
So,
cheers.
Cheers.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Great day.
Thank you. Cheers. Yeah. Night.